One of the most notorious death sites in Nazi Germany occupied Poland, and at the same time one of the most infamous ones was Palmyra, about 20 kilometers north of Warsaw. The series of executions carried out in that area was a part of planned and systematic extermination of Polish elites, mostly Polish intellectuals, with a death toll of about over 100,000 people. At the beginning, those executions were carried out in the areas annexed to the Third Reich, and subsequently they were carried out on the area of so-called general government, so basically the occupied territory. Before preparing this, before carrying out those mass executions, the Germans prepared this area thoroughly, and there were units of Arbeitsdienst and Hitlerjugend which cut down the trees in that area, and thus widening the glade that already existed in the forest, and even removing the railway tracks. They also paid particular attention to making sure that the area is properly patrolled, and that there would be no witnesses. Subsequently, hundreds and altogether 2,000 prisoners, especially from Pawiak prison, the largest prison in Germany-occupied Europe, were brought to the death site, even carrying their personal belongings, their documents, and some of them would throw those items out of the trucks after they realized that they were lied to. As Germans informed them frequently that they would be transported to a concentration camp, but when they realized that the trucks are going deep into the forest, they knew what was coming. Those Hitlerjugend and Arbeitsdienst units prepared mass graves, basically ditches, which was supposed to look like anti-aircraft trenches, sometimes even like naturally formed holes in the ground. Subsequently, people were made to stand at the edge of this mass grave, and they were shot to the back of their head using machine guns. Sometimes Germans implemented certain technical improvements to make sure that the bodies drop exactly into the mass grave. For example, they would hold the ladders behind the inmates' backs and then let them loose after the people were killed. Subsequently, the mass graves were concealed using tree litter. The layers of layers of soil were put on those mass graves, after which pine trees were seeded on that area. The Germans were happy with the result. They thought that the executions would never be revealed. However, they didn't realize that the Polish resistance located those death sites, and they were sending reconnaissance to witness what was going on. So the members of the Polish resistance could hear the people being executed, also the moaning and shouting of the victims. Especially the foresters contributed to discovering those mass graves after the war, and they were making, for example, notches on the trees, or even forcing the bullets they found into the bark of the trees, or simply memorizing the area, which helped during the exhumations carried out after the war. As I mentioned before, about 2,000 bodies were found. one of the persons who lost his life, apart from, for example, prominent Polish politicians, was Janusz Kusacinski, Polish golden medalist from Los Angeles, a long-distance runner. He was an active member of the resistance. Also, he participated in the defense of Warsaw in 1939. He was wounded twice, also decorated with the Cross of Valor for his bravery. He was caught by the police and tortured to extract information about other members of resistance, but he didn't want to talk and was ultimately shot in the back of his head on January the 21st, 1940.